Intellivision.
Mattel Electronics presents the World Series.
Intellivision World Series Major League Baseball is a baseball video game designed in 1983 by Don Daglow and Eddie Dombrower and published by Mattel for the Intellivision Entertainment Computer System. It was one of the first sports video games to use multiple camera angles and present a three-dimensional perspective. It was also the first statistics-based baseball simulation game on a video game console. All prior console baseball games were arcade-style recreations of the sport.
Long fly. Going. Gone.
Dan Daglow was one of the original 5 in-house Intellivision programmers at Mattel in 1980 and had written the first known computer baseball game on a PDP-10 mainframe computer at Pomona College in 1971. After completing his first Intellivision cartridge, Utopia, in 1981, he was promoted to lead the Intellivision game development team at Mattel. While watching a baseball game on TV in the spring of 1982, Daglow realized that the Intellivision could mimic the same camera angles shown in the broadcast. He immediately wrote a proposal for a new baseball game. He received approval from the group vice president to start work, but there were no current programmers free, so Daglow began a search for someone qualified to create this new kind of game. He found the right person through the job placement office of his alma mater, Pomona College. Eddie Dombrower was a programmer, animator, and classically trained dancer who had written a program on the Apple II computer as a way for choreographers to record dance moves the same way composers write down music. Since Intellivision World Series Baseball would require far better animations than past video games with its TV-style display, Dombrower was considered to be a perfect fit for the job. By October 1982, Dombrower had a first-screen display running, complete with another first, an insert screen to show a runner taking his lead off of first base. This was the first use of an insert or picture-in-picture display in a video game.
He throws the second. Makes the play. He's safe.
In 1983, Daglow showed the prototype to Mattel's marketing department, which at the time was locked into a TV advertising war with arch-rival Atari for the position of top video game console. Although the game was not slated for completion until mid-1983, the company rushed a new commercial into production for Christmas, in which Intellivision spokesman George Plimpton pulled a velvet drape from a monitor and proclaimed the title to be the future of video games. Mattel's marketing strategy was to dissuade customers from buying Atari or Coleco consoles by showing an exclusive new style of Mattel game.
It's a hard line drive. He makes the catch.
While the game had been announced during Christmas, it was reported in June of 1983 that the game was not ready for release. The video game crash of 1983 wiped out most of the market before Intellivision World Series Baseball ever shipped. Like most video games completed after the spring of 1983, it entered a toy store network that believed the video game era was over and that the games had been a passing fad. To make matters worse, while the game could be played without the use of the IntelliVoice, which was already being phased out due to poorer than expected sales and declining user interest, It did require the then new Intellivision Entertainment Computer System keyboard component. Unfortunately, by the time the ECS was released, an internal shakeup at the top levels of management had shifted the company's focus away from hardware add-ons and almost exclusively toward software. As a result, the ECS was not well promoted, and neither it nor its companion software titles sold particularly well. And since Intellivision World Series Baseball was one of the last titles made for the ECS system, very few copies were sold, making it one of the rarest Intellivision titles in the collector's market.
Long fly. Going. Makes the catch.
Daglow and Dombrower went on to create the hit Earl Weaver Baseball at Electronic Arts in 1987, where they more fully implemented the ideas behind Intellivision World Series Baseball. This set the stage for E8 Sports' product line, and in the early and mid-1990s, Daglow led the development of the Tony La Russa baseball games, further refining baseball simulations. Intellivision World Series Baseball displayed the batter and pitcher from a center field camera view. One player chose the pitch type, while the other player batting could choose when to swing, when to take a pitch, or whether to bunt. Once the ball was hit, the game switched to a press box camera view, where the defensive player could control the fielders and the batting player controlled the base runners. When runners were on base, an insert window displayed them, and the player could lengthen or shorten their lead and attempt to steal. The game was originally written with a simplified version of Daglow's 1971 mainframe baseball statistical simulation program, so that the MLPA license could be acquired by Mattel and the game would accurately simulate the play of real Major League Baseball players. For economic reasons, in mid-1983, Mattel withdrew from this plan at the last minute, and the designers were forced to replace actual players with the names of the Intellivision game design team. Intellivision World Series Baseball is also notable for many innovations. In-game play-by-play announcers presented via IntelliVoice.
It's a hard grounder. He makes the play.
Stadium background music.
Nobody on. 1 out. It's a line drive. Makes the catch.
A save load feature in a baseball game via a cassette tape. And although names were changed, lineups based on real player stats and skin color.
Dropper. He crossed it first. He makes the play.
Intellivision World Series Major League Baseball was ahead of its time, and for the people who created it, a look into the future of baseball video games.
Right. It's a line drive. He makes the catch.